Hey guys, it's hot and we're a little bit late because Maddie is tired and we went to the state fair today, so we're tired too. So we're a little behind and we're just putting this all together, but it's all good.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here. That's all that matters. Jeez. Are you happy now? Come here. You come say hi? Aww. Look. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? Can you say hi? We got Moana on the side, so she can be happy while we're sitting here with her. But yeah, welcome to the live stream. Just give me 1 second real quick, Charlie, talk to them.
What's going on? Fambam. Like said, Maddie's tired. She had her first night of sleep training last night, so she's on a new schedule. So she's a little, she's dancing to Moana. Whenever the grandma part comes on in Moana, like when she's dancing by the water, Maddie does it with her. So we're on a new schedule, so Maddie's a little tired, but we don't want her to go to bed quite yet.
Bro, I'm like sweating. It's so hot in here.
Yeah, it is hot. It was weird weather today.
Well, I'm getting this up to make sure that I can see the audio and I can see you guys' comments. But anyway, so like I said on the community board that we're going to be, I told you guys that we're going to be doing the live streams twice a month. And I decided to do them at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month. So the last Sunday and the first Sunday is when we're going to do the live stream. And the first one's going to be about kind of what we've been going through, what you guys can expect coming up in the videos during the month of like in our marriage, everything faith, family, football, film, and fatherhood related. And at the end of the month, we're going to do like a recap and another Q&A of like what's going on at the end, and then the Q&A of what's going on in the beginning. And yeah. So let me just give me 1 second. I'm sorry about this, but.
You trying to see Moana? The village believes.
I don't know if the audio is good because of the thing.
Well, we could turn it off, but you might get sad. Maddie loves Moana. Like, she likes other movies too, but Moana is the only one that really holds her attention. She loves Moana.
All right, I'm here, guys. Here we go. 271 watching. Oh, God. Well, it looks good. So is the audio and stuff good? I can see everything now. So is the audio good and... Just go over a little bit.
Oh, you don't want to sit next to me?
No, I'm saying because it's like off balance. It's great. It's great. Okay. Okay, good. Now we can get this road on the show.
Road on the show?
It's from a movie. I said it on purpose.
Oh.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. But when you have a baby and you have a state fair and it's hot and all this stuff, things come up. Anyways, like I was saying, this is going to be what we're doing at the first of the month and at the beginning of the month, at the end of the month. These live videos that we're going to do twice a month. So that's enough. But yeah, so kind of what, as you guys can tell, the living room is different. Me and Charlotte had changed up the living room because we just thought it was a good time for a change of scenery, I guess, in our house because of the changes that we want to see in ourselves and the change that we want to see in our household.
But also with Maddie, like because she's moving around so much, like the way our old layout was set up, it just didn't like flow, and there wasn't enough room for her to just run around. And this new one,
and sorry about that. And what I'm talking about with like the change in the house, I filmed all that, and we're gonna talk about that in Tuesday's video as well. But we've had a lot of change, as you guys know, in our marriage and our relationship, and with Maddie, and trying some new things. So yeah, that's one thing I want to talk about. Also, one thing I want to talk about was in the video on Tuesday, I know a lot of you guys talked about the 5 love languages, and if we read the 5 love languages. And what's actually over here? Ugh. I think this is mine. This is yours. Whatever. We both have the 5 love languages, and we both have. You got to rank the love languages from like 1 to 5,
we
right?
We both have read it, and then we both took like the test, and so we both know what like our top 2 love languages are. Yeah.
So I thought it'd be a good idea, since that was a big topic that was in the comment section, if we talked about our love languages and how and what they mean to us and how we try to fulfill them in our marriage. You want to go first, or you want me to go first? You can go first.
My love language is quality time. And so like Cedric and I spend a lot of time together, but that's not like how I feel loved. It's like when we spend time together on purpose and like with a purpose. So like him showing me that he's like put thought into spending time together. Because
this window, bro, it's like burning hot in here.
You should open that up. So spending time together on purpose, like thoughtful, quality time together. Because living together, working in the same space, like we could easily just say, oh, we spend a ton of time together, but it's not quality time. We spend a lot of time, but not quality time. So that's my love language. And I don't really have a second one. That's pretty much like my love language.
All right, sorry. So my love language is physical touch. And I think for a lot of, when you hear the word physical touch, the first thing that people think about is obviously sex. And for me, that isn't the case. Although that kind of that has a big part to do with it. But for me, physical touch is like, I love like being, like one of the biggest things I always tell Charlotte, like I love like when you rub my back and we're just like talking, or if like you give me kisses and stuff like that. And that's like a big thing for me, because like I feel the closest to her when she's like, physical touch is a hard one to explain, because like for a man, it's like people always think, oh, a guys just want to have sex.
But it's more than just that. Like for Cedric, like I'm not like a big hugger or anything like that. Like, I don't know. That's just not my love language. So that was never something that I thought about. But like for Cedric, like even just like hugging him is a really big deal.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that like we struggle with for a long time, because I think you keep talking.
She wants to eat and go to sleep, but she can't because she's got to wait till her bedtime routine. So it's been an adjustment for us in our marriage, because we don't have the same love language. So basically what Gary Chapman, the author, talks about is like I could be giving like all the quality time to Cedric and like coming up with really thoughtful ideas of spending time together, but his love tank could still be empty because I'm not showing him love in his love language. You have to show your spouse love in their love language, not the way you receive love. So it's important for me, even though like physical touch isn't a natural thing for me, to be mindful of like having touch points. And even if it's in my head, it's like, okay, I need to do this X, Y, and Z or blank number of times a day. At first, the more you do it, the more natural it becomes and just becomes part of your habits. So it's okay if you have to like think about it, and it like, you know what I'm saying? It's okay.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that Gary Chapman talks about is like, if you feel like you have to think about it, then therefore like you feel like you shouldn't have to do it. But think about love, like under both of our rings, I don't know if it's under mine. Is it mine? So under Charlotte's ring, I got engraved in there, love is a verb. And that was huge for me because as a verb, you have to like do things. And people feel like love is something that's just supposed to naturally come. And love is something that you have to like intentionally do and act on for it to work, I guess. And that's something that when it comes to our love languages, we have to be intentional of like making sure we're doing the work to make sure that each person's love tank is full. And I think one of the biggest struggles that I had with the 5 love languages is like, okay, if I focus on this one love language of hers, what about the other ones? Because sometimes she needs physical touch, and sometimes she needs, acts of service?
Yeah.
Acts of service or
encouraging words.
Or encouraging words.
Like that's a big one for Cedric too.
Yeah, like for me, I have 2 big ones, like physical touch and encouraging words bounce back with each other on which one's number 1 for me, depending on what season of life or state of life that I'm in, if that makes sense. Like when I was going through football and like getting cut and stuff, obviously encouraging words is bigger for me than physical touch at that time because that's what I needed. And that's what can be confusing or kind of misunderstood when it comes to the 5 love languages, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm sorry this is like all out of whack because like we just got home and Maddie's like super tired and like it's hot. So we're trying. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, also one big debate, and after this we'll do a Q&A and be done because this is just not going like as well as I thought as I wanted it to go. One thing that I wanted to talk about, that we want to talk about, is like a sport that we want to put Maddie in. We go back and forth about what we want her to play. Like if my big thing is I want her to be an Olympian. Like I want her to like do like the track, the swimming, gymnastics, and all that stuff. And Charlotte obviously has, what she wants her to play.
Yeah, well, I played soccer and basketball growing up, and I obviously really loved my time playing both. But I think it's like really important when your kids are young to put them in a bunch of different things and see like naturally what they gravitate toward.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna show y'all a little sneak view of something I'm gonna be showing in this week's videos.
Sarah's instructing up there, just sitting in All right, we're gonna try some somersaults or some forward rolls. My free hand is gonna help her go kick and step, kick and step, kick and step. There we go. Good work, Maddie. You're almost to the end. One more big kick. Yeah. Let's give Maddie a big round of applause. Good job. Is a good way to give them an idea of how it should look and how they need to move their bodies as well. Here. You got it. Look at you, big girl. Whoa. Hold the bar tight. And then swing. Whoa. And we're starting to get to the age where we're curious about the bubbles and we try to reach up and pop them as well. In isolation. As our birds become more mobile, this will be a good exercise for enhancing their peripheral vision as well. They start moving around. We get a little bit of tunnel vision when the bubbles come out, and that's sometimes when we can crash into some of our friends on our.
So yeah, that is one thing that we tried. Obviously, you guys know we tried swimming, and that didn't go as well as I wish it would have went. But Charlotte wants to try swimming again. To me, it's like I feel like we should do swimming when it like when it comprehends to her that the water is okay and like this is how you swim.
But that's how she gets used to the water and she doesn't get afraid of it, is if she just keeps getting in. You know,
I don't know. When I'm putting her in water, like when I take her to the pool, it's like a torture session. It's like she does not.
She liked it.
I'm literally dunking her head under the water and she's screaming. I'm like, how does this make sense? Like, this does not make sense.
She liked the last session. So, like, she loved the first session. We went for, like, a trial. She loved the first session. And then we signed up for the 13-week class, and she cried the entire class every single week until the last one, and then she liked it again.
It's because she liked it because she knew it was the last class. That's why she absolutely loved it.
But we took her to gymnastics for a trial, and she loved it, too. Mm-hmm. So we're starting that, and I hope she doesn't act like it doesn't respond.
I don't think she will. I think when it's like an environment where she can like run around and like jump and see other kids jumping, it's fun for her. Like in the water, she's so confused about what's going on. It's like, what am I doing? My dad's over here dunking me, trying to drown me in this water. I'm like, bro, she gonna end up hating me because I'm trying to drown her.
But she loved gymnastics. It's so cool to see her personality shine through even at 13 months. Mm-hmm. Like, she is just so independent and confident and bossy. So it was really fun to see her interact with other kids because we don't get to see that being at home. And just see her like be so confident. It was really cool. Yeah, it was.
So yeah, I really just got on here to tell you guys just what I'm going to be doing. I promise at the end of the month is going to be a lot more organized than this. But
this was pretty good.
I know, but you know I have high expectations. But
sometimes
stuff happens.
Things don't go exactly as planned, but they're still good.
Yeah. So now we're going to do the Q&A. So I'm going to look at the other computer and let's do some questions.
Is she late?
No, she's asleep.
Oh no.
This is bad because I got to give her a bath and put her down and stuff. So
have dinner. We're starting our bedtime routine. Okay.
Any advice on couples moving in together for the first time, and any advice for interracial couples? You go first.
No, you go first.
No, I got to fix it.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't in the right mindset. Couples moving in together, that's tough. I think like moving in is a really big test for your relationship because living with someone is totally different than dating them. So just give each other grace and be able to like talk about the small things, because if you just keep pushing them to the side, eventually they become like this whole big pile of big things.
Yeah.
So like just like communicating like these are my expectations, like, and not all of, you grew up in two different households, so when you come together there's going to be an adjustment period, and it's not going to be exactly how it was living with your family or your friends. So just like giving each other grace. And
I think another big thing is like, speaking of giving each other grace, is like when me and Charlotte first moved together when we were in college, we let the smallest things like turn into a big argument. Like Charlotte hated that I would like where I'm from, like in California, we had like garbage disposals. That's probably everywhere, but Charlotte didn't have a garbage disposal. So I would like dump all my food that was like left over on a plate in the sink.
Like chicken wings.
Like everything, because we just put it down a garbage disposal and we grinded it up. Like that's what we did back home. And like she would like start a big argument over that. I was like, bro, it's not even that big of a deal. And then to me, like, I don't even I let a lot of small stuff go. So like I didn't really trip about the small stuff. But I think
you didn't like when I take my clothes off, like when I change. You know how girls, try on a few different outfits, and then I'd like leave them out.
Yeah, I don't like when stuff is like, I don't like clutter and mess up. Like I'm constantly always like picking up stuff in the house and making sure that it's like not like deep clean, but like when you come in here, everything is like neat and tight. And that like drove me crazy. But after a while, we kind of communicate like, look, this is what's bothering me. Can you work on it? And let's hopefully, you know what I'm saying, get better at it. And over time, it did.
And kind of going back to what I was saying about like the interracial part too, is like growing up in different households, there are different things, and growing up in different cultures, there are different like expectations and norms. And so like it's definitely difficult at first. It's still difficult for us sometimes because he leaves washcloths in the bathtub.
Okay, next question. Charlotte, how did you do last night with Maddie's sleep training?
I want to talk about it. It was really sad. So, as you guys know, last night was Maddie's first night in her room and in her crib all night. Like throughout the last 13 months, she's always slept right next to me, in between us, and it was really hard because we tried the whole like let her cry it out, and I'm watching her on my phone because we have a Nest Cam, so I can like see her, I can hear her, but I can't go and save her. So that was really hard. And then even when like she was sleeping, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd think that I heard her like screaming, and so I'd like run to the next room. She'd be passed out, like totally fine. So it was definitely hard for me because I like having her close to me. Like it just makes me feel like she's safe, and so it was hard, but we made it through. And she did well.
So I have the responsibility of like the one who like gets up and like you're supposed to like go in there for 1 minute, less than 1 minute, and then leave, even if she's crying. And there's like 10-minute intervals. So I had to like, I'm the one who's responsible for doing that. So the first time she woke up, it was really hard for me because like you watch her suffer and you can like fix the problem, and you are choosing not to. And I got like emotional, I'm like, bro, like, because usually when she's in pain or anything, like we run to the rescue, but now it's like we're forced to not do it. So it was hard, but she did like really, really good for her first night. She only woke up twice, and she slept from like 8:30 to like 12:30.
No, 8:30 to 11:30.
8:30 to 11:30, and then like was up at like around 12:30. Went back to bed. Woke up at 3:30, or like around 3 or 3:30, and then I put her back down, and then she slept all the way to 8. So she did like really, really good her first night. So we'll see what it's like tonight. Let me see. Said, what made you get into film and photography? I've always had like a thing for videography and photos, but like I said, like back home, like that's not a big thing that's taught or that we did. So when I got released from the Patriots, I'm like, man, I got to figure out what else I like doing. So I did some soul searching, and I was like, okay, I remember I really liked video and stuff. So I just tried it, and then now we're here. What a Fambam and a whole thing going on. So.
Yeah, when he was in high school, he used to have like a jerking crew.
Oh yeah.
And they made videos.
Yeah, I like all the videos. I like reading.
Yeah, YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube channel. Don't ask what it is, and I ain't telling nobody what it is because those days aren't there. And don't think that she don't know either. So.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Monsters Inc.
Yeah, but that's not the YouTube channel's name.
It was like Toy Soldiers.
No.
Monsters Inc.
You keep giving all this things. You're never gonna find it.
You made it private. I know.
No, I didn't. It's still up.
Do you want to raise that up?
No, I don't know why that's so dark. It's not dark here. This is what they're saying. Is it dark to y'all, or did it look good? When is merchandise coming? Everybody's asking that. You want to answer that question, please?
Soon come. We're working on it. We're just waiting for a few things, but soon.
Charlotte, I think this is good for you that answers Alexia's question. So I need some advice because I've never had a boyfriend, and I sometimes feel like there is something wrong with me. I'm 18 and in college, and I'm very shy.
There's nothing wrong with you. I would just encourage you to, keep being yourself. Like if you're shy, that's okay. Cedric was actually shy when I first met him. Yeah. So just like be you, and it'll come when it's supposed to. So like don't stress yourself out or think that something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you.
It's a little dark.
The right person, hasn't come your way yet, but somebody's gonna come and love you for you. So don't change yourself. Just keep being you. Just lift that up so the sunlight can come in a little more. No, it's so bright. Ooh.
Oh God.
My baby is so sweaty. It is so hot.
It is hot in here, bro. All right, I think that's good. I don't know if it is, but we're sweating. Ooh. I sat on her foot. Sorry, babysitas. How did your parents react when you told them you were moving in with Ced? I don't remember that. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. So, Charlotte, I'm the one that asked. Like, I asked her family, like, okay, I asked Sarah and I asked Julie. And I was like, you know, Charlotte basically lives with me in my apartment, and we're thinking about getting an apartment together. And we were juniors. I was a junior, and I was going to my junior year of college. She was going to her senior year. And our aunt was like, well, I think it's fine. I think it's good because it saves you guys money. But what are you guys going to do, like, once you get in arguments and whatever? She was basically asking the hard questions because she knew that, you know, once we moved together, it was going to be a big change. And I was 20 years old, and she was 20 or 21. We were young, and we never, like, officially lived with each other. And I asked her mom, and her mom was kind of just like, you know, you guys do, I support whatever you guys do. And so they didn't really care, but they're a very supportive family in the decisions that we make. They
knew that we were like serious.
Yeah.
I think honestly our friends probably had more of a negative reaction than our families did.
Yeah.
Because our friends were like, this is college, you're supposed to party and whatever, and we just had a different idea. I wanted to say one thing before I forgot. I was talking to Seth about this yesterday. I met Cedric when he was Marcus's age.
Oh, yeah.
It's like mind-blowing to put that in perspective.
Yeah, because when you look at Marcus, like I see I'm like, I was 18 when I met you. Now I'm 25. I was in the car with you. I'm like, bro, I've known you for a long time. Like, we've known each other for a really long time.
That's crazy.
What's been your proudest parent moment and spouse moments?
Oh.
It's hard to choose one moment. Like,
yeah, we're like proud of Maddie every moment.
Yeah. And to me, it's like for me, it's like the little things, like when she says "dada," or when she like when we're trying to teach her something and she figures it out. Like, that's like, I get so proud of her.
Yeah, I like when like she like problem solves, like when she's trying to do something she can't do it, and then she like figures it out and does it. Mm-hmm. It's just, but we're honestly like those parents that are like, oh my gosh, every little thing that she does, we're like, oh, we're so proud of you.
Oh my God. I've been having difficulty at school. I lost a lot of my friends because of different classes, and it's been hard. Do you have any advice for me? I think the biggest thing is, like, I remember when I was in high school and like you look at your schedule and none of your friends are in there. I think it's an opportunity for you to make new friends in that class to bring into your friend group that you have now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always good to like branch out and like meet new people and meet new personalities and people's stories, and bring that into your friendships that you have outside of your classes.
Well, and like for me, for example, I'm obviously not in high school, and so I'm in a little bit of a different circumstance, but all of my friends have moved to other states. And so I've found that like in order to stay in a relationship with them, I have to be really intentional about like making an effort to like still see them or talk to them and do things for them, even though maybe I'm not physically with them as much as I'd like. So it's like different, but just being like intentional to be like thoughtful and be a good friend, even when you're not with them all the time.
Hey, Sid and Charlotte, how long did it take you guys to come up with a name for the baby?
Honestly, like, I know. We could go there and everything. Honestly, we could go Daddy. Honestly, so Maddie's named after my sister Madeline, and my sister and I both talked about how if we had a girl, we'd want to name her Maddie. And so I think we knew the first name for a while, but we didn't tell anybody. Like, my family pretty much knew, but we didn't really tell anybody. And the middle name we picked the morning after she was born when we were sitting in the hospital. Like, we had thought about it, and we really liked the name Parker. We thought we'd actually use it for our first name, but it wasn't until the morning after Maddie was born, before Cedric had to go back to Cincinnati, that we were sitting there like, okay, what's her middle name going to be? So.
This is a tough question, so I want to try to answer it. Do you have any insecurities, personality-wise, and how do you deal with your emotions and fear?
I mean, everybody has insecurities, even if they pretend like they don't.
Yeah, I think everybody has insecurities, and they either come out sooner or later, and then the biggest thing is once you realize that insecurity, to not let it like bury you. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that's the only advice I really have for that question. What are some of your favorite moments playing at the University of Minnesota? I think my favorite moment playing at the university was playing against Ohio State. We were ranked like 20 something, and they were ranked like something in the teens. And it was a snow game. It was my last game at the stadium, and it was a really, really, really close game. And I just remember that feeling of like playing high-level football against a team like Ohio State, who went to the Big Ten championship and won that year. We should wrap it up. We gotta put our next episode too.
They're asking good questions today.
Yeah,
some tough ones. What else?
When are you coming to Sweden? I don't know. Sweden was never really big on our list.
Well, we could go.
Yeah, we could.
Would
you guys ever visit Boston again? Yes, we would.
Yes, Maui.
How both of you find motivation? All right, y'all. We gotta. What time is it? 6:30. Oh shit! It's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We gotta feed her and stuff.
Yeah. Give her like 2 more.
All right, 2 more questions. Hey Cedric, me and an ex fell apart after 3.5 years, but still really love each other. Any tips on how to keep issues like trust, friends, and negativity in our relationship? Thanks. Trust is the most important factor in a relationship, but it's the most difficult to understand and the most difficult to attain, because trust can be broken on either side, but people can look at trust differently. There's obviously like the big trust, like, infidelity and lying. Those are the big things. But like for some people, trust can be something easy, like, oh, I told you to do this and you didn't do it. Yeah. So therefore, I don't trust you to do this. And that turns into a huge thing. So trust is something that you have to work on daily with the small things. And I feel like if you do that, you eventually get better at trusting somebody with the big things. Like a lot of issues in relationships is like, oh, when my man or my woman goes out, I wonder what he's doing because I don't trust him. And the man or the girl didn't do anything. It's something that's inside of the other person to where they don't want to trust their significant other. So it's something that the person on each side of the relationship have to work upon in themselves. Like when me and Charlotte first got together, one of the big issues with her with me was trust, because the stereotype of what a Division I football player is and the attention and stuff that we did get later on, like she had reasons to not trust me that I had to like gain her trust back. But it just takes time and it takes work. When it comes to like friends, like you have to not really care about what your friends think and follow like your heart and what you want to do with the person that you're with or trying to be with, is my advice. You got anything? No? One more question. I want to choose a really good one.
Do you want to think about becoming?
Huh?
This one. Jesse's question.
Do you want to think about becoming a football coach in the future? On what level? Just stay tuned for videos coming up in the future to answer that question.
Okay, one more.
All right. Well, Allie's here. She's late. We're going to get off Allie's here. Any advice on how to choose where to go to college or how to choose a major? Mm-hmm. It's different because I play sports, and it was like if you got a full ride somewhere, you went there.
Yeah.
So that's
I would say like you can get what you want out of your education no matter where you go. It's all about what you put in. So I would consider like what's most important to you, what like kind of lifestyle, like school life, social life, and such you want. But also it also depends on what you're studying, because obviously some schools have really great programs specifically for the field you're going into. Mm-hmm. And then choosing your major, like I would honestly, like a lot of students start out in one major and then they change. So I would recommend just taking a bunch of classes that fulfill your general credits your first 2 years to find out what interests you. For example, I started out pre-journalism and I ended up creating my own major. Cedric started out Parks and Rec, and he ended up he went through like 3 majors and ended up at business and marketing. So just because you start at one thing doesn't mean that's where you'll end. And I just encourage you to take a lot of different classes and see what you're really interested in, because when you're 18, you're coming out of high school, lots of times you don't know because you haven't been exposed to everything that a college may offer. So.
And that wraps up the live. So, like I said, beginning of the month, end of the month, the next one will be better than this. It's hot. I'm tired. She hungry. We tired. All that good stuff. So, we'll see y'all on Tuesday.
Yeah, you say bye.
You say bye, Mama?
Until next time.
Bring her up to say bye.
Say bye.
You say bye? Say
Focus.
bye, Mama.
No.
Can you say bye? No?
She's
Maybe?
like, I'm so over this. I'm hot. I'm sweaty. Look at her curls. She's so sweaty. All right, y'all.